Hey all, Tony Bing here, hello and welcome back to the channel. Now today we will have a look at doing the most comprehensive beginner's guide that I've done for the game yet. Now the reason I'm doing this is I've recently hit day 365 in the game. In that time I've done round about 500 or so videos, so I've covered a huge amount of topics, but they're spread out over different playlists and different videos. So the purpose of this video today is to do a beginner's guide that really covers everything you need to know if you're a new player to the game. Now if you've been playing for a while, you'll hopefully be able to pick up some tips as well. Now it is quite a long video, so what I'll actually do is I'm breaking it down into various different sections, and in the description of this video I'll actually put timestamps as well, so if you want to jump to a particular section, certainly feel free to do that. But we'll be covering lots of different areas of the game. We'll be looking at the roster and how heroes actually work, we'll check out stats, we'll look at achievements and how you go about unlocking Hulk. Not that you really want to do that because he's a bit underwhelming. We'll check out raids, we'll look at Blitz, we'll look at arena. We really will cover just about everything in the game you need to know if you want to give yourself a head start, if you're a long time player, if you want to tidy up your game a little bit. But we'll actually start off just looking at characters and how they all work and how they break down in regards to shards and unlocking them first. So when it comes to upgrading and making your character stronger, you've got various different sections here and we'll cover all of them. You've got the abilities, you've got the character level, you've got their gear tier, we can see that in the middle of the screen, and then you've got their star rank as well. Now if we look at the abilities first, so if you look at named heroes, they have a basic, special, ultimate and also a passive. When you have the minions in the game, they only have a basic, special and a passive, so they're missing an ultimate. So by and large, minions will be actually weaker than named heroes, although there are some exceptions. The like of Hand Sentry, the shield minions and also Merc Lieutenant are very good characters. Now when it comes to upgrading your skills, when you first start off the game you'll be on the lower tiers, so your active skills go from level 1 up to level 7 and your passive goes from level 1 up to level 5 maximum. So you start out, you'll be playing through the story mode and you'll be getting lots of green ability materials. Now these are used to upgrade your skills from level 1 to level 3, that's for your active skills. Once you get further on in the game, and it's actually when you hit level 20, you can then join an alliance. Shortly after joining an alliance you'll start to do raids, and it's in raids that you get your next tier of ability materials. That's your blue materials, you get them via raids. We then have the tier 3, which is your purple ability materials. They can be quite rare to come by, so you do have to put a little bit of thought into actually applying these. With these they'll come through harder raids, so as your alliance gets stronger you'll start to stockpile them up as well. Finally, in order to upgrade your active skills from level 6 to level 7 and upgrade your passive from level 4 to level 5, which in some instances can be an absolute game changer, in other instances it can be completely rubbish to be honest, so do make sure that you're using your upgrades wisely. But in order to do that you would require tier 4, which is your orange ability materials. These are exceptionally hard to come by. At the moment we can only really get them via raid milestones, and raid's something we'll look at later on in the video. You have an event that comes around called Block Party where you can use city based characters, and when you reach the final tier you can get the chance of some tier 4 ability materials. And then finally you have the ability enhancements challenge. When you get to the final tier of that you can gain some of them as well. Now they are also available through chance via the ability orbs, but you don't want to buy them at all. You get a tiny amount and it's complete RNG. You may buy one of them, spend 450 of your power cores, which is the primary currency in the game, and not actually get anything for it. Later on in the video as well I'll talk about how you want to best actually spend your power cores that you're gaining. Now the next section we'll look at here is in regards to your level. So currently the level cap is 70. In order to go from level 1 to level 70 it would require a whopping 3,635,630 gold. Now the cost goes up as you go up in level, so when you first start out in the game, when you want to build your roster, pull the majority of your roster, all the useful characters that you are using them, pull them all up at roughly the same time. Try not to go too far ahead on too many characters because it will cost a lot more gold to get one character way up the top than it would to bring a large majority of your roster up, which you can really benefit from when you look at modes such as Blitz, so it gives you more diversity when it comes to raids as well. Now if we actually go into this section in regards to upgrading your character. So you can see here we've got something known as training modules. So these are required as well as gold in order to upgrade your character. Training modules, you shouldn't ever really run short of these. You can get them via the story, you get them via the training day challenge, you can get them via orbs, but once more, these orbs are not something that you want to actually purchase at all. Next up, we have the star rating in characters. So currently we've got the gold stars. There's something being introduced called red stars, and we will talk about that later on in the video again. For now, in regards to your gold stars, so you get shards for your characters, and as you get different amounts of shards, you can rank up your character in star level, and as you go up higher in star level, it requires more shards. So it starts off that, for example, to unlock a character at 1 star, it would cost 15 shards. Some characters actually cost more to unlock, like Thor or Kingpin, for example, would require 100 shards to unlock, but it means you are unlocking them at 3 stars, so straight out the gate they're a lot stronger. Now, in order to completely max out a hero, it would require a whopping 810 shards, so it really can be a bit of a slog to unlock them. Different ways you can get shards for characters, it really does vary, because you have some characters that are more exclusive, but the majority you'll get via story. You can get a real nice amount of shards via Blitz. You've also got legendary events where you can get shards as well, and then you've got premium orbs. This is something that you will be getting for free, and again, there's something I wouldn't recommend buying them, but as you play the game you can actually get these without having to spend any of your hard-earned currency. Now finally, for this section here, you have your gear. So you can see currently I took Daredevil all the way up to gear tier 12, and that took quite some time. You can go up to gear tier 13 maximum. Very few people out with whales in the game actually have this. Now when it comes to gear, one of the biggest issues you actually find is a material that all characters use called Advanced Basic Catalyst. Now from gear tier 8 onwards, you actually start using that. So for that reason, most of your characters on your roster, you want to take them up to gear tier 8, check out what upgrades you can do. If any of them require the Advanced Basic Catalyst and it's not a primary hero that you intend on actually leveling, you don't need them for any kind of event, then I would actually just leave them at tier 8. That allows you to stockpile the catalyst for other characters that you are wanting to level up there. Also with these catalysts as well, you actually have the choice of buying them via the store where you can use gold. Now for a pack of 10 of them it would cost you a whopping 240,000 gold. You can see that we've got 6 gear slots here, and in some instances later on, to fill just 1 gear slot it can take around about 40 of the advanced catalysts, so that would be costing you around about 2 million gold to fill 1 slot. So for that reason I would actually just try and get the catalyst via the free means that are available in the game. It will take longer, but otherwise you're really going to struggle for gold and upgrading your characters if you're buying them from the store. Now that just about covers all the basics of the characters, so the next section we'll check here will be the stats. When it comes to stats, then you'll see a very wide range on stats, and that really helps define your character. So it will let you know if they're a glass cannon character or if they're one that should be taking more damage and taking the attention of the enemy. Now all the stats have a short description, but there's still a lot more to them, so we'll run over it here. We start off with health. This is simple enough. It's your total capability to withstand damage. Does what it says in the tin there. Really the same for damage as well, so that's your base damage applied to the target. If we think of the skills we looked at a moment ago, you've got all the multipliers that then multiply your base damage. Now next up from that we have armour. So with armour, this reduces incoming damage by a set amount. So let's say that you had an attack that was doing 10,000 damage against you and you had 5,000 armour. That means you would take 5,000 damage overall from it. Now to complicate things a little bit with this, some attacks have something known as piercing, and they actually work their way through armour. So you'll have characters that have high piercing, such as the likes of Punisher or Wolverine or Black Panther. If they go up against a character that has high armour, an example off the top of my head would be Iron Man, they'd be doing a lot more damage to them. So that's something you want to think about when you're actually setting up your characters to take on the enemy. Now next up we have something called focus. This is tied in with resistance. So focus is your capability to apply effects to the target. So you have lots of things known as debuffs in the game. Your debuffs can range from stunning a character or blinding them or actually slowing them. The higher focus, the higher chance you have of doing that. Now with focus as well, characters have something known as cleanse, where they can actually strip a positive effect from the other team. So they could strip speed up, or they could strip something known as taunt, which is a move that tanks actually do. so you can only fight them. So the higher focus you have, the higher chance you have of cleansing it. You then have resistance, so this is the opposite of focus. This is your capability to resist effects. So the higher resistance you have, the less likely you can be cleansed of positive effects, and the less likely the enemy can actually add a debuff to you in the first instance as well. Now, the next stat we have, this is basic for all characters, it's crit damage. It comes in at 130%. Your crit chance, vast majority of the characters in the game only have a 10% crit chance. Some can gain a bit more via their actual passives, and that would include the likes of Iron Man, Winter Soldier, Ronin, Wolverine or Gamora, so you can actually add some crit chance as well there. You then have your speed. Now the speed ranges go from round about 70 for the slowest characters, that would be the likes of Hulk and Optimus, up to about 145 for the fastest. That includes the likes of Black Widow and Korath there. Now speed is exceptionally important because the faster you can get off your skills, the faster you can lock down the enemy and actually get the jump on them. Now in regards to speed, there's a very good video done by Valley Flying, and it breaks down all the maths of how it actually works. So what I'll do, because I'm hopeless at maths myself, I'll actually link that video and then you can check that out for a nice in-depth breakdown of it. We then have our dodge chance. Not many characters have it. Daredevil does due to the nature of character he is. So your dodge chance is your base chance to avoid incoming attacks. Other characters that would have dodger ones, thematically it makes sense on. So you've got the likes of Spidey, Vision, you've also got Wasp. Now when it does come to dodge, certain attacks that characters do can be classed as unavoidable or cannot miss. Now with unavoidable, that means that it can't be dodged or evaded. So let's say you were to go Hawkeye, he has unavoidable attacks. If he was attacking Spidey, then there was no way that Spidey could actually dodge his attacks. So that can make a big difference in matches because the AI will ramp up the number of dodges they can get. So if you can get a character that has unavoidable skills, then that's not going to happen at all there. In regards to the cannot miss, a character that would have that as an example would be Thanos. Now with cannot miss, you can get blinded in the game, which reduces your accuracy, and that's something we'll look at in a moment. But with a cannot miss skill, even if you're blinded and your accuracy is low or zero, then the attack will still hit. However, the attack can be dodged or evaded. So it's a little bit confusing on that side there. Now we have our block chance next. Not many characters have that. It's generally ones with shields, so characters that can block are the likes of Captain America, the Merc Riot Guard, and also shield security as well. And we do have Miss Marvel actually, she's an interesting character there. We have the block amount. The majority of characters again will get 25%, but there are a few that can get a slightly higher amount, and it's generally the characters who have the higher block chance, so they'll be taking a lot less damage. The final stat we look at here, and this is an interesting one on Daredevil, it's your accuracy. So for almost all characters in the game, they have 100% accuracy. Now if they get a debuff called blind, that reduces their accuracy by 100%, and that's the reason Daredevil has 200%, because a regular character, they're blinded, they have 0% accuracy, they'll miss for their next attack, unless of course they have the cannot miss tag. Whereas with Daredevil, he'll still have 100% accuracy, which means even if you blind him, because he's already blind, he'll still hit the enemy. You also have Hawkeye, who has 170% accuracy, so he's still got that 70% chance to actually attack the target there. But that's all the stats covered. So next up we'll have a look at team positioning and also the different roles available in the game. So we currently have 5 roles that are available in the game. Now the first thing I'll mention that's really important here, this game isn't like a traditional raid MMO in that you need to go into levels with one of each role in order to actually complete it. You can sometimes have multiple of a particular role and not even have any of a certain role when you get into a fight. What's more important is a synergy between the characters. But the 5 different roles you have, they are Protector, Support, Controller, Blaster and also Brawler. So to run over each of them, we have Captain America first. He's your Protector class. Now Protector classes are all about protecting the rest of your team. It does what it says in the tin really. Generally you'll do that through taunting up, so all the enemy attacks are actually focused on that one particular character, and for that reason they'll normally have high armour and a high health pool as well. protector classes that can be really nice in the game include the likes of Captain America, who we can see here. You've got Hans Sentry, he's very different how he actually goes about protecting his team. He does that through evades and stealth. You've got Kingpin, he's quite a different protector as well. He does it through minions rather than himself. You've got Shield Security, and you've got Thanos as well. Now, a protector class which is really quite different from the rest of them, and you'll find this with a few characters that fall under a class type, is Crossbones. Now, he's a protector, but you don't really want to be using him as a tank. He's almost more of a blaster class, and some characters fall into that hybrid category. Now, the next one we look at, this is support. We've got Doctor Strange here. So support is your characters that will generally heal, but they're also able to add beneficial effects to your team as well and support it, again, as the name would suggest. So you've got notable characters: Doctor Strange, the Merc Lieutenant, he can provide defense up and speed up. You've got Nick Fury, Night Nurse is your conventional healer, and then you've got Yondu as well. Yondu is a jack of all trades, and he can do damage, he can call in summons, he can do an element of control, and then he's got the element of healing via his summons as well there. The next class we have, I've got Hawkeye for this. So this is your controller class, and it's all about adding debuffs and actually stripping buffs from other characters. So notable characters here that work really well are Black Widow, Hawkeye, Jessica Jones, Loki, Magneto, Quake, she's fantastic for her slow, and then Star-Lord and Vision. Star-Lord's the one that sticks out a little bit because, again, he's more of a hybrid class in that he can do a nice amount of damage, so he's almost controller stroke blaster class there. Now, for the blaster class, we're showing off 4 here, so notable characters would include Iron Man, Korath, Punisher, Pyro, Rocket Raccoon, and also Ultron, who will be awesome, but he's not really available in the game as of yet. Now, the blaster class is all about putting out damage. This is your glass cannon class, so they can't take a lot of damage themselves, but they can certainly put out a ton of damage, and that's the same for the brawler class. That's represented by Spidey here. Notable brawler characters would include Black Panther, Carnage, you've got Daredevil, Deadpool, Gamora, Iron Fist, Sabretooth, and Spidey herself. They're all really great, and again, they're the class type that you would generally have to use a protector to actually keep up, because they won't be able to take much damage, but they can certainly put out a ton of damage. Now, the next section we'll actually look at here will be all about placement of your characters, and this is really quite important. The positioning of your characters is actually exceptionally important, then not only from a defensive perspective but also from a utility perspective as well. Now, I've chosen 5 characters here that can best display how this can actually change fights for you and make them a lot easier. Now, on the outside we have our protector class characters, so we've got Thanos and Captain America. Now, the reason you want to put them on the outside is quite a few characters have splash damage attacks that will hit up to 3 characters, so with your tanks being on the outside, that means you're only actually going to hit 2 characters, because there's not another character to the left of Thanos or to the right of Captain America there. Now, another reason it is relevant, and this ties in with Nebula and Black Widow, these are 2 great examples. So with characters that have chain attacks, the chain attack can be stopped via a counter attack, or if there's actually a character that's stealthed up. So Nebula would have a counter attack, Black Widow would have the stealth up. So what would happen is you would have Captain America or Thanos that would taunt up, an enemy fires off their chain attack, and it would be stopped via Black Widow because of the fact she's stealthed, so there's no one to hit, or it could be stopped via Nebula because she'll do the counter attack that breaks the chain as well there. Now, also from a utility perspective, you have some characters that can offer buffs and energy to adjacent targets, and that's why I put Nebula next to Thanos. When Thanos defeats a target, he'll provide ability energy to adjacent cosmic targets, so that's why I would actually place her there. You want to put your weakest character really in the middle, and that way they're less likely to take damage because the chains will be stopping on the characters and in the background there, in this instance Nebula and Black Widow. So that's your positioning. As mentioned, it is very important, so make sure to check that out before you get into a fight. Now, next up enemy, we'll check out Red Stars. Red Stars then are a very recent addition to the game, and they can actually offer insane power jumps for your characters, but it is very much all down to luck. Now, how do you actually get Red Stars? So you'll have a Blitz on a Monday, but with that Blitz, your characters need to be between star level 4 to 7 to participate in it. So the farming of Red Stars is more for players that have been playing the game for quite some time, Also as well, you actually get 5 red stars per week from your weekly login calendar if you log in every day. If you miss a day, the calendar resets, so make sure you're logging in every day, even if it's just to fill in the calendar and nothing else. Now, the red star orbs come in 2 varieties. You have your normal orbs. These are the ones you'll get via Blitz and also via the weekly calendar. These cost 2,000 shards and they can give you a chance of between a 1 and 7 star for a character. And what happens is when you actually get duplicates, so let's say you've got 3 star in a character and you get 3 star once more on them, this will actually give you elite shards. Now the elite shards, once you get 5,000 of them, you can open an elite orb, and that will give you a chance of a hero between 4 and 7 stars. So it wipes out 1 to 3, you won't be getting them at all in the elite orbs. Now if you look at the bonuses they actually offer here, they really are pretty extreme. The lower end star ratings are pretty useless, to be honest. You've got 2% for 1 star, 5% for 2 star, 10% for 3 star. These are pretty useless in comparison to the higher ratings. Once you get to 4 star, it's getting a bit better at 20%, 5 star is 35, 6 is 50, and 7 is an insane 75%. It can really transform your roster. It can mess up your blitz teams as well, but it can really help you out when it does come to arena if you get a lucky pull there. The majority of characters, if you do get them at 7 star, even if they're a slightly weaker character, they will be worth farming due to the huge jump in stats you'll be able to get with them. Now the next section we'll look at will be the buffs and debuffs that are available in the game. We'll start off here by looking at the buffs first. Now before I do run through them, I will mention the fact you'll see next to each of the tooltips it states opposite. Now the reason that's relevant is that you have certain characters, namely Doctor Strange and Venom, that can actually flip buffs into debuffs, so this lets you know what they would flip them into. Now conversely, you also have a character called Scientist Supreme. She's not a great character, but she can actually flip debuffs into buffs, and again when we run over the debuffs you'll be able to see what they would be flipped into. Now the first one we look at here anyway, this is counter attack. So counter attack upon being attacked by an enemy, it's pretty simple enough there. It expires when you're actually attacked and you counter, so if the enemy doesn't target you for multiple turns you still keep this. In a lot of instances counter attack can break melee chains on enemies. There's few exceptions, the likes of Spider-Man, but the vast majority of characters counter attack will break the chain, so it can be a really helpful way of actually stopping the enemy doing a ton of damage across your whole team. You then have death proof, so this attacks that would defeat this character instead reduce their health to 1. Self-explanatory. Again, this expires when you actually use it. You have immunity next, which is a relatively new buff to the game. So with this, additional negative effects cannot be applied to the character, so you can't apply any debuffs to them. The only character that has this at the moment is Juggernaut, but I imagine we'll see it being rolled out to more characters as time does go on. Now if that is flipped, it will change into something called Disrupted that we'll look at when we check out the debuffs. Next one we look at is a very important one that a lot of characters do have access to, and it really can help you out. This is Defense Up. So when you have this, you decrease incoming damage by a whopping 50%, but you also increase your own resistance by 50%. So if we think back to stats, resistance makes it hard for enemies to apply debuffs to you or to cleanse you if you have buffs on yourself as well. So this is a very important buff. This particular one only works till the end of your turn. It's not there until you get hit, so for that reason you won't have a very large uptime on it. The next one we have, this is Deflect. So with this you block the next attack. If we think back to characters that had the high block damage, likes of Cap and the Mercenary Riot Guard, Deflect can work really nice in them because they'll be blocking more damage. This actually expires when you use it, so that's on block. We then have Evade, so this is like a guaranteed dodge, so you dodge the next attack and this expires when you actually use that as well. Do bear in mind if a character has unavoidable attacks, the likes of Hawkeye, then he will still hit a character even if they have Evade on them. Next one we have, this is another healing one, this is Regeneration. So with this, you heal by 10% of the source character's max health each turn, and you can actually get multiple stacks of this as well. And normally when you're running a healer character, they will have a way of applying quite a lot of stacks of it. If you flip them, you can flip them into multiple stacks of bleed, so that can be really useful there. Now the next one we have is Offense Up. This is again very important. So you increase outgoing damage by a whopping 50% and you increase your focus by 50%. So that means you'll have a higher chance of applying debuffs yourself and a higher chance of cleansing an enemy, and this expires on turn as well. We then have Speed Up. It's not available via a lot of characters to apply to the rest of your team. It's namely the Merc Lieutenant and Black Widow that offer this, but it is a very important buff, and if you pair this up with slowing the enemy via the likes of Quake, it can really turn the match in your favour. We have Stealth next. Important character for Stealth would be the Hand Sentry. He's great for that. Now, Stealth characters cannot be targeted if other targets are available, but what will happen is if you fire off an AoE, such as Quake's ultimate that hits all characters, Stealth characters will still take damage, so that's something to bear in mind. The final buff we look at is a bit of a strange buff here, but this is called Taunt. So taunting characters must be targeted first. So this is your Protector class characters, which are your tanks. They'll throw up a taunt, they'll normally throw up Defense Up at the same time, and they'll take all the damage unless another character can actually cleanse them and strip the taunt from them. And this starts at the beginning of your turn and it expires at the end of that particular character's turn. Now what we'll check out next anyway will be the debuffs. The first debuff we look at here then is Ability Block. So when you cast this, the enemy cannot use their special or ultimate abilities. This is a very nice one to cast on tanks if you can cast it before they've actually taunted up, because then you can prevent them from doing that. Not very useful on characters that have a strong basic, because it will then force them to actually use the basic, and this expires on the end of turn. The next one is one I really do like, and quite a few characters have it, including my favourite character Hawkeye. This is Blind, so you decrease accuracy by 100%. It's useful on just about all the characters in the game, bar Hawkeye himself actually, and also Daredevil, because they have a higher than 100% accuracy, so they can still hit you even if they are blind. Now the great thing about Blind is if an enemy fires off a really hard hitting move and it's not unavoidable, then what happens is that's the move wasted and you need to wait for it to actually charge up again. So with Ability Block, all you're doing is delaying a potential move. With Blind, you're actually wasting that potential move. The only thing to be aware of with Blind, if the enemy's casting a non-combat move, then it won't be as useful. They'll still get the effect of it, so there's no point, for example, blinding a tank before they taunt. They'll still be able to get the taunt there. Now the next one we look at is Disrupted, so this is the opposite of immunity. So with this, additional positive effects cannot be applied to this character. This is very useful to use against Protector classes, then they can't throw up their Defense Up or their taunt. We then have Defense Down, so you increase incoming damage by 50% and you decrease resistance by 50%, making it a lot easier to actually apply debuffs and cleanse characters. The next debuff we have is Bleed, and this one you can get multiple stacks of. So with this, you take damage equal to percentage of the source character's damage each turn, and this is actually based on the skill as well. So the higher your level of skill, the higher damage you'll actually do from the Bleed, and you can get multiple stacks as mentioned, so you can really ramp up the damage on this. Now the next one we have is Heal Block. So with this, it's pretty simple. You cannot be healed. As a little side tip, a character that can work their way around this is Scarlet Witch. On her special, she can redistribute the health in characters, and Heal Block doesn't actually stop this from happening, so that's a useful little tip there. Heal Block can be very important when it comes to the Dark Dimension mode, a mode we'll look at later on in the video. We then have Offense Down, so with this you decrease outgoing damage by 50% and you decrease focus by 50%. This is an exceptionally good debuff. You can get this via Vision, where you can apply it up to 3 characters on his basic. Do not underestimate how good this is. It really is an absolutely fantastic debuff, and it's probably one of my favourite ones in the game. We then have Slow. You'll be experiencing this when you start off the game, because Quake can offer it via an AoE in her basic, which is really great, and this decreases the speed of enemies by 50%. If you pair this up with a character that can apply speed up to yourself and the reduction in speed to the other characters, you're essentially gaining 100% speed on them, so that can be a fantastic combination. Now the last debuff we look at, this is a really nice one again, this is stun, so with this you miss your next turn, you cannot dodge or block while stunned as well. The one thing about stun is a bit like ability block, all you're doing is actually delaying a character using a potentially hard hitting move. It's not like blind where they're actually wasting the move, so do just bear that in mind. If you've stunned a character on that next turn, if you've not taken them out, they could be firing off a move that could give you a lot of trouble there. Now that's all the buffs and debuffs covered, so what we'll look at next will be the character roster, and we'll have a quick look at some of the harder to farm characters. With the character roster then, you have 85 characters that are currently available in the game. Now the way it's organised is it puts your most powerful characters at the top. If you click the little strange symbol, I've no idea what you would call that, at the left hand side there you can bring up a selector, so you can only see particular characters. You can only see maybe ones you've unlocked or ones you're trying to unlock. Now with the characters that are available, there's 85 in total. The vast majority of them you will be able to unlock via story mode or also Blitz. There are some characters that are locked behind something known as premium orbs. Now you can get these for free in the game. They do take a bit of grinding, or you can buy them for 450 power cores, which is your in-game currency that you can actually grind or buy as well. Now you never want to buy premium orbs, you want to just use the free ones because they're really not providing good bang for your buck in regards to your power cores at all. But locked behind premium orbs you have Deadpool, Loki, Thanos, Black Widow, Nobu, Sabretooth and Carnage. They're all really strong heroes, but I would say resist the temptation to go using your cores and orbs. It's simply not worth it at all. Just grind towards your free ones. Other characters that are available via different means, I'll actually scroll down to show them off here. The first one we have is Ultimus. You'll see him on the right hand side there. He's the big bad of the game. In order to get shards for him, it's via Ultimus orbs, and you only get shards for the Ultimus orbs once you get your characters to 7 stars, and then any excess shards go towards unlocking them. I've got a full video I'll link that actually breaks that down. Way down at the bottom at the moment we have Ultron there. He's locked behind Dark Dimensions, a mode that unlocks at level 65, and it's the harder version of Dark Dimension that you actually need red star characters for. You need to be level 70, you need a very wide roster, and that's called Enter the Darkness. Now with this particular mode, once you finish it, it's something that will take even the whales months to do. Then you unlock Ultron, who's one of the strongest, if not the strongest characters in the game. But you don't have to worry about him for a long time if you're a new player starting the game. Even if you've been playing the game for quite some time, like myself, you still don't have to worry about him at all either. You're not going to see him for a long time. Now a few other characters here that aren't unlocked via story or via the premium orbs, they are Star-Lord, Iron Man, Magneto and Nick Fury. They're all fairly strong characters, or some of them are very strong and some of them are a little bit weaker, but these are flagship characters and they're unlocked through legendary events, and that's something we'll break down later on in the video, how the legendary events work and what characters you actually require in order to unlock these flagship characters, because to do the events you need 5 of a particular character type in order to actually get them there. Now that's all the characters covered, so what we'll actually look at next, and this is really important, it's your primary currency in the game, power cores. So we'll look at how you accrue that and where you want to actually spend it. The primary currency in the game then that's really used to buy quite a lot from various different stores and refresh your energy is known as power cores. We can see that up at the top of the screen right now. Now power cores can be bought or you can actually earn them for free. If you're earning them for free, if you complete all your dailies every day, you can get up to 50 power cores. If you log in every day in a particular month, you can get up to 725 power cores. The final day you get 250, so it's very important you don't miss a day. You then have your milestones that rotate once every 3 days. If you complete all of them, that's a further 100 power cores. And then finally, probably the most important source of power cores as a new player is via the mode called Arena. Now via this PvP mode you can get anywhere from a paltry 10 power cores per day if you're way down the bottom of the leaderboards, up to a whopping 500 per day, and that can really transform your roster. Now if you were able to get all these power cores, where would you actually spend them? So the game will suggest to you that you should be using your power cores to buy premium orbs to get characters. That's not what you want to do at all, and it's a subject of one of the first videos I put out called Number 1 thing not to do. A really popular video, I'm happy to say. Now, you don't want to buy your premium orbs. What you want to do, up the top right of the screen, you'll see the energy symbol. So this is the energy you use to run through story mode and run through your campaigns. So if we click on this, we can see you can actually purchase campaign energy there. So for 50 power cores, you can get 120 campaign energy. Now, each day you can refresh this up to 4 times. After the 4th time, it jumps up to 100 power cores. So stop there, do your 4 refreshes per day. That will cost you 200 power cores, which you should on average be getting that amount for free. So you can actually do that number of refreshes. One thing you'll get as well is you've got the little energy symbol, a little green card as well. Now, when you do your dailies, you can actually get up to 35 of these per day, and these work like cores, and if you have over 50 of them and you go to do a refresh, it will use that instead. So that can certainly help out and help you saving the cores. Now, the reason you don't want to go for the premium orbs, we'll jump into them very quickly here. I've got a stack saved up, but if you look at these here, if you go to the central pillar, it actually tells you how much you get from them. So let's click on this. The most common shard drop, it's a whopping 86.93%. So let's just call it 87%, which it really should be there. So that's an 87% chance to get 15 shards of one of the listed characters, and that includes all the minions as well. So if you're wanting to try and get 15 shards for a character you really like, let's say Iron Fist for example, you've got that 1.35%. Now, next up, the uncommon shard drops is 25 shards. That's got a 12% chance, and then in order to get 50 shards, which does only drop for named characters, but that's only a 1% chance there. So you can either get 5 refreshes, which is worth the equivalent of 600 energy, or you can potentially get 15 shards of a nameless minion. You're not trying to rank up at all, so make sure that you are using all your hard-earned power cores on energy refreshes and not premium orbs. Now, saying all that, the premium orbs are quite important to actually building up your roster. So what we're going to cover next is ways you can actually farm these without having to buy them. So whilst we've covered the fact that you really don't get much bang for your buck if you were to buy premium orbs via power cores, they are still useful for filling out your roster. Even if sometimes they only drop 15 minions, that can help you out in the likes of Blitz to get up the lower tiers. Now, there are different ways you can actually get them for free, and you can get up to roughly about 10 per week. I have done a quite in-depth breakdown, and I'll put a link in the description of how you're actually able to do that, but for the purpose of this video we'll quickly cover it as well. So your free ways that you can get your shards towards opening your premium orbs, it's via your milestones, so that would be your gold, energy and leveling milestones. It's via your challenges, that's specifically the orb fragment challenge, and then it's also via the blitz as well. So it's every Monday you get a double blitz. You get a blitz for red stars, which is for the players that have been playing for quite some time, because that requires 4 to 7 star heroes, and then you get your premium orb blitz as well. That can be a really nice source of shards there for you if you're starting out. Now, we're in the store already, so let's actually check out the different store tabs, and I'll tell you what you want to buy from these different tabs and also the priority as well. Before we actually break down the different sections within the store, then I will mention the fact that as a new player you may see a deal for 1000 cores for $1. If you see that, I would recommend snapping it up. You may also see a new player deal that will offer you 100 shards for $10 for a flagship character the likes of Captain America, Black Panther, Black Widow or Deadpool. It does appear to be random, but they're all great characters, so if you think you're going to play the game and you see that deal come up, I very much would recommend getting it. It'll make early game a lot easier for you. Now, if we do look at the first section though, which is your orbs tab, so this is where you've got your premium orbs. You've got various different ones. You've got your red star orbs, you can see you've got a bullseye orb there, and then you've got your gold orbs as well. The vast majority of these you can earn in the game for free, and they're simply not value for money when it comes to your power cores and how long it takes to earn them. So as we mentioned a moment ago in one of the sections, just make sure you spend your power cores on your actual energy refreshes. Don't spend them on any of these orbs at all. You can see there's a whole lot of them there. Now, next up, if we go to the Blitz Orbs tab now, to buy these it gives you random 5 shards out of a pool of Blitz characters that are available. This is the cheapest actual way to buy it, so once you've bought all the Blitz characters you want to, and I'll cover that in a moment, then you want to start rolling from here and going for the random ones. You then have your red orbs. really don't want to buy any of these at all. They just simply aren't value for money. There's some quite duff characters in the raid orb for 900 of the currency, so you don't want to go for that. And the gear ones, the 6,000 of the actual currency is an insane amount. It will take you a long while to get that there. And then finally, we don't have anything in the actual arena tab, so we jump to supplies. Now if you look at arena supplies, so when you play the arena mode you'll get currency. With that currency you can actually unlock these different characters now, so we can see the characters available: Scarlet Witch, Mordo, Drax, Quake, Daredevil, then we've got Aim Researcher, which is a minion, Hand Archer, and then Shield Security as well. Now in order of characters you want to farm, if you're a new player, and I've tried to really think about the campaign and modes you would need them for, I would say that you want to farm Quake first. She's a fantastic hero and controller. She can slow down other characters. That's really important in the game. Next up you've got Daredevil. He's part of the Defenders, which is one of the best, if not the best, free to play actual synergy team that are available in the game. Drax can be really useful when it comes to the cosmic actual campaign, and he can also help out in the hero campaign. And then you've got Mordo. He's a villain, which is great for the villain campaign as well as the Mystic campaign. And then finally Scarlet Witch can be great as well. Once you've farmed all them, I would say you probably want to try and get some in Shield Security, because he's a really good character, and he's a character that works alongside Nick Fury, who's one of the strongest characters in the game. Next tab we have, this is Raid. Now this is slightly different from Arena in that the top 3 areas here are all for characters, but it actually rotates, so you won't see the same character. Now characters that can drop in here include Hand Sentry, Ronin, Scientist Supreme, and also Thor as well. Now in order of the characters you want to go for, I would say go for Hand Sentry first. He's just a minion, but he's a fantastic minion for the villain campaign and also the Mystic campaign. Next up, go for Rocket. Absolutely incredible character, and he helps you out with the cosmic campaign and also the heroes one. You've got some blaster challenges he can help with. And then at a push I would say you probably want to go for Thor as well, because he can be useful in the Mystic campaign. He's a bit on the slower side, but he can hit really hard. Now after this you can see you've also got the option of getting gear as well. So if you've got a particular character you're trying to rank up and you don't have gear for him, that is an option, but I would concentrate on getting Hand Sentry and Rocket first before you really start to buy any gear from here. Now next tab, and this is one you'll have a lot of currency for, you can see I've currently got 67,000 currency, which is a whopping amount for this because I've maxed out all the characters, but you get a whole ton of characters here. I won't list them all because there are so many, and there's quite a few minions, but if we scroll up the top, if you're a new player, the order that I would say you want to go for characters here is you want to go for Spider-Man first. He's a starter character you get, and that way you can level him up and make him even stronger. Next up you have Gamora, who's incredible. She does a huge amount of damage, and she's got a very nice mechanic where she can chain when she beats an enemy, so she gets another turn. Crossbones is a fantastic character that you should already have shards for him via a beginner's event, but it's good to rank him up even higher. And then you've got Luke Cage as well, so he helps you build towards that Defenders team. We've already talked about Daredevil and how good he actually is. Now the final tab here in the store, this is actually where you can actually buy various things using your power cores or using gold. Now when you start out you'll probably want to buy some of the tier 2 ability materials. They can be useful if you're running a little bit shorter there, but after a particular point of time you won't really need to buy them anymore. But if we scroll down here, you can see the advanced basic catalyst we talked about earlier, so 125,000 for only 5 of them, really expensive. You've got some of your purple gear. You've got your characters available for 450 shards, but resist the temptation, do not buy them from here, it's simply not worth it at all. If we scroll all the way down, mixed in you've got gold, and you've got some actual pieces of gear that cost a whopping amount of your power cores. That's 1,300 power cores, which is maybe about $15 or $20 for one piece of gear. Make sure you don't click that by mistake. If you do, put in a ticket to support and genuinely they'll do a one-time refund. But if you go all the way down as a new player, you want to make sure every day you buy all the green ones, and actually you go up a little bit further and buy some of the blue gear pieces as well, because they will be useful when you're just starting to level your characters up. But that's the store, and that's where you want to actually spend everything to make the most optimal use of the different currencies you're getting. Next up, what we'll look at is the dailies in the game. So your dailies are pretty simple then, but this is a really important screen, and doing your dailies is massively important as well for a few reasons. Now, in order to do your dailies, you've got all these different tasks. If I scroll down, you can see them here. Now if you click on a particular one, you've then got the go button, so you can simply just click on that and it will take you directly to the screen where you actually go in order to fulfill that particular daily, so nice and easy. So what do you actually gain from doing this? Now in total you can get 110,000 gold, 50 power cores, 250 Blitz and Arena currency, 100 med kits which you use in raid, 35 of the campaign energy refreshes, that's the free ones, and also once you've completed them all you'll get 5 Wolverine shards as well. Now Wolverine himself isn't a great character, but he's a flagship character for Marvel really, so I'd be surprised in future if we don't hopefully see some kind of buff for him to make him a lot better. So that's one reason why it's important to get your dailies done. Now the second one is when you finish all your dailies you actually get up to 885 experience per day. Experience is how you level up your character. As your character levels up you can then level up all your different heroes as well, so this is really one of your main sources of XP. You've also got doing your all missions during the day, spending your campaign energy and doing the 4 refreshes we've talked about, but doing your dailies will get you a ton of XP, so make sure you don't actually forget to do them at all. Now also within this section, if we scroll up to the top here, you can see it says you have campaign energy available. So 3 points throughout the day it will give you 80 campaign energy. That in turn when you spend it will convert to XP as well, and if there's a special event running it will actually give you energy for that as well. Now in the UK it resets for me at 12 in the afternoon, 6 at night and also 9 PM, so if you're having trouble remembering, just set a reminder in your phone and that way you can quickly jump on. You have a 2-hour window once it's actually active in order to claim it, so you want to make sure you do that. Now the next section we'll look at will be the achievements, and these are all based around how you actually unlock Hulk. So the achievements then are the only way you can actually get Hulk shards in the game, so it's a very slow grind to actually unlock them. No one has them at 7 stars yet, I think 6 stars is the maximum. However, he's a really underwhelming character, so when and if you do unlock him, I wouldn't really put any resources into him at all. I would unlock him just purely for the fact that when you unlock characters it can help you get more achievements which can give you more currency, but other than that I wouldn't really level them up at all. Now if we quickly scroll through the different options you've got here, you've got ones for logging in for a set amount of days, spending gold, doing battles in Blitz and spending Blitz credits. You've got the ranking up characters. The collecting characters one gives you quite a lot because there's a lot of tiers of that. Currently I'm on the higher tier. It starts in maybe like unlock 1 or unlock 3 or unlock 5 and it goes from there. And then you've also got achievements for your player levels, so it looks like it is teasing the fact we'll have level 75 at some point. Hopefully that's not anytime soon. And there we go, that's all the different achievements. Now this section I'll leave a little bit lighter, the reason being I'm linking a video right now and that particular video breaks this down in a lot more detail. It breaks down all the different achievements and which ones are the easiest ones to go for, and if you follow that guide, if you're a big Hulk fan, you should be able to get them in round about 15 days here without having to spend anything in order to do that. Now the next section that we will look at, this will be the milestones. Milestones then are a set of goals that last for 3 days and they actually rotate, so there's 3 of them in total and it's 3 days and then the next one will start. So you've got milestones in regards to spending gold, spending energy and also spending training materials by upgrading your characters as well. Now this is a good way to get premium orbs. So you've got your gold milestone which is for spending 1 million gold. So what I like to do is actually save up my gold until this milestone comes round and then I just blow it straight away and I get all the premium orbs and I get all the power cores from that as well. You've then got your energy milestone where you need to spend a total of 3,200 energy over 3 days. In order to do that you need to make sure you get all your free refreshes and you'll need to do your 4 refreshes per day as well. You may need 1 or 2 more just to push you over the finishing line if it's a little bit tight as well. And then you've got the training mats milestone, so this particular one's not really good. You don't get a lot of bang for your buck in regards to doing it, so this one I would only go up to milestone 4 which will give you half a premium orb. If I show you the one I've worked on at the moment anyway, this is the gold one. So in total you had 6 different milestones that were available there. The last one giving you a full premium orb, 50 power cores, and giving you some crafting materials as well. So that can be really nice. Yes, that's your milestones. You want to make sure you do them as well, and as confirmed, it's the golden energy ones you want to max out. The training materials one, just take that up to rank 4. Now the next section we look at will be the challenges. So your challenges then are different levels you can run through, and as you work your way up the tiers you actually get more rewards. So quickly click on the gold one and you can see here. So you would start off in tier 1. Once you 3-star it, you can then auto it, so it makes it a lot better for the next day when you have to do it. So we start off with 22,000 gold and 115 of the gold shards, and way up at the top there. It's not a massive jump, but it does go up. It's 78,000 gold and it's 240. Now you can see up the top right, it tells you how many times you can do this, and it's up to 3 times per day when the actual event is active. So they're all active on a Sunday, so that's really nice for getting all your extra materials, and then at 2 other points during the week they'll be active as well. So in total you can do each of them 9 times per week. So you're looking to get your gold, you've got your training materials, you've got your ability enhancement materials, that's for upgrading your skills. You've got some raid med kits, so they're really useful. You've got orb fragments, so that can help you get the premium orbs we were talking about earlier. And then you've got your Catalyst of Change challenge. That's an important one because when you get to the later tiers, it allows you to start unlocking those advanced catalysts that are really quite rare there. Now, I've done a ton of videos on these, probably done about 10 videos, if not more, covering different strategies and teams you can actually use. So for that reason, we'll leave it here for now for this video, but check out the description if you want to see a breakdown of any of the tiers and what teams you should actually use here. Now, next section anyway we'll check out will be the events tab. So the events section is another one that I've done a ton of videos on, so I'll just give a brief overview here, and then once again I'll link all the videos in the description if you want a breakdown of any particular event. Now the events open after the first chapter, the first hero chapter in the game, and from that point you can farm Crossbones and also Electra. They're really good heroes that will help you out in the villain campaign, so make sure you do those events as early as you actually can. You have other events that come around there, reoccurring, and they come around every 3 weeks or so. You've got the payday event that can give you a ton of gold, and you're required to use mercenary characters in order to actually work your way through the tiers. And that to work your way up the tiers, there are 7 in total. You need 5 characters at a particular star rating. So if you want to do tier 4 for example, you would need 5 characters at the 4 star rating. That's the way this works, to encourage you to actually build up your roster. You've then got the block party event, which is used for your skill materials. You can use city characters, so you'll want to use defenders for that, and once you get up to the final tier on it, it gives you the precious tier 4 orange materials we talked about earlier on in the video. And then you have the relic hunt. It's probably the least important of the events. This one you can use hand characters, and this will give you some catalysts for upgrading your characters. Other events you will get are known as your legendary character events. Now, characters that are locked behind this are Iron Man, Star-Lord, Nick Fury and Magneto as well. Again, I've done videos breaking all these down, the requirements and the heroes you would like to use, but just to cover here very quickly, I Am Iron Man event, that's to unlock Iron Man, of course, that requires shield characters. You then have Space Ace, which is for Star-Lord, that requires Guardians and Ravagers. The way it works is the same as the payday event that we talked about, and to go up the different tiers you need to have characters at that particular star level. You've also got the Chase and Fury event. Nick Fury and the Shield team are exceptionally strong, however in order to farm him you need to farm Kree minions, which at the moment they're pretty useless. We're told we will be getting an update at some point. When that happens it will take the sting out of farming them a little bit, but for now I'd probably farm the Defenders team over farming the Shield team. And we're also seeing a lot of counters come into the game for the Shield team because they are so powerful. Now the last event we have, it's a very recent one, the Asteroid M event. That's where you unlock Magneto, who's exceptionally strong in arena offense, doesn't really do much in raids, and in order to unlock him you need X-Men and Brotherhood characters, so he can be quite hard to unlock there. Now the next section we'll look at, and this is quite an in-depth one, is we'll look at the different campaigns available in the game, and we'll talk about what heroes you can farm from those campaigns and what heroes are good to actually help you get through the campaigns as well. So we have 5 campaigns that are available in the game, and this is where the majority of your characters will come for, because once they've been in the game for a little bit of time, they're normally dropped into a campaign node. So you've got the hero villains, you get the Nexus campaign, Cosmic, and then you get Mystic as well, and there are different requirements for them. The requirements are pretty obvious from the name of the campaign. Now first off, I'll actually talk through each of the campaigns and I'll let you know what particular heroes that are useful you can farm from each of them. So firstly, you have the Heroes Assemble campaign. That's heroes of course you use. Now good characters you can farm from here are Punisher, Yondu, Luke Cage, Night Nurse, Captain America, he's way at the end of it but he's very good, and also the shield characters and Hand Sorceress can actually come in pretty handy as well, pun intended there fully. For the villains campaign you can farm Jessica Jones, there's another node for Night Nurse, you then got Merc Lieutenant, he's a great minion because what he offers is speed up, and the only other character that really offers it at a nice rate would be Black Widow, and she's stuck behind the premium orb, so Merc Lieutenant can be really nice there. You've also got Kingpin at the end of this, who's a great character, and then you've got some shield characters dropped in as well. That's shield minions that can be useful to use. For the Nexus campaign, you have Iron Fist available. He's exceptionally important to the Defenders team because he's the main healer, so you really want to get him unlocked ASAP if you're running Defenders. You've also got another node for Jessica Jones, another node for Captain America, and another one for Yondu as well, so that can really help you there. If we scroll along, you've got the Cosmic campaign where you can only use Cosmic characters. That's pretty self-explanatory. The one character you really want to get from here is Black Panther. His node is particularly difficult, so I've got a video for that in the description. You then have the Mystic campaign. This one's really pretty tough, but it's got some very nice characters locked behind it. So you have Storm, Miss Marvel, Doctor Strange, Vision. It's probably the hardest node in the game, but he's one of the best characters. And then you have Hand Sentry as well that can be unlocked there. So they're all great characters. I've got a few videos once again for some of the more tricky nodes there. Now, in regards to the heroes you can actually use to work your way through each of these, I'll quickly run over that as well. So we'll scroll all the way back. For the Heroes campaign, and I've really concentrated on characters here that you unlock early or are nice and easy to unlock as a new player. So a great team to get you through the Heroes campaign would be Luke Cage, he's your protector. You've then got Quake, you've got Spidey, you've got the Shield Medic, and you've got Punisher as well. So you've got your heals, you've got your control, you've got your protection. That's a really nice team. Then you've got your damage via Punisher as well. Other characters that can help out outside this core team would be Drax, and also the Shield Operative in particular can be really useful for missions where you need to protect a character because they can stealth them up and apply regen on them, so don't overlook the Shield Operative for any protect missions. When you've got the villains, this is a little bit harder because there's not as many you unlock early on in the game, but you've got Crossbones and Elektra you get via their event. You've then got Yondu, you've got Hand Sorceress, you've got Mordo, who's available via one of the stores as well, he's a great character, and then you've got Hand Sentry as well there. He's exceptionally important and will really help you out a ton. Now next up we have Nexus. You can actually use any character in the Nexus campaign, so for that reason I'm not going to break down who you would use. You generally use your strongest characters, but you do try and have some synergy with them as well. For the Cosmic campaign, Yondu, Drax, Gamora, Mordo and Rocket are all generally easy to actually get, and they can really help you out with that campaign. They're a solid team. For the Mystic campaign you have Hand Sentry, Iron Fist, Mordo, Yondu and Hand Sorceress there, so there's a bit of overlap in the campaigns, but that's good. That means you're not having to farm as many characters. There are a lot of characters I've mentioned, but the game will try and pull you in lots of different directions in regards to the characters you need to rank up, and there's nothing really you can do about that. It's just the nature of the game. The developers want you to be spread out and potentially spending money to unlock the characters, but that's all the campaigns covered there. So that's the characters you can use and all the characters you can farm from them. So the next section we look at is the arena. As a new player then, when you start the game, this will be one of your best sources of cores because you'll be put in a new player shard for Arena for 30 days, and you can really work your way up there if you're focused and you pick the right team to actually level up. Now the way Arena works anyway, we can see we've got a team here, so we just hit the go button. You actually scroll through and you can see different teams that you can fight. Now you can refresh them as many times as you want until you get a team you would like to fight. Up the top you can see we've got a currency where you can do up to 5 fights per day. After that you have to spend power cores if you want to do any further fights, but you get 5 fights per day. Once you do a fight you've got a 12-minute cooldown. That's to keep you logging in throughout the day. Now once you beat that particular opponent with a certain rank, you swap places and you move up to their rank. Now if you're defeated, you'll then move down, but that's where the defense side of things comes in. So if we go to set defense, what you can actually do is you can choose 5 characters to drop in here to be your defensive characters. Now it's very important as you get new characters and as you rank characters up and your roster changes, you go into this regularly to make sure your offensive team is actually updated. Now with your defensive team as well, you want to try and choose a team where the AI is smart in regards to the skills it uses. Sometimes the characters that can be strong from an offensive perspective are not necessarily strong from a defensive perspective, so do take that in mind when you're actually setting up your defensive team. Now teams that can work well in Arena, you've got from an offensive perspective, you've got your Brotherhood, which is probably the strongest team but one of the hardest to get. You've got the Shield team, you've got the Tech team, that includes the likes of Rocket, Raccoon, Star-Lord, Vision. They're all very hard to get characters. And then finally you have the Defenders. So as a new player, the Defenders will be the one that you actually want to work towards. You've got the 4 Defenders characters. For the 5th slot you want to drop in Punisher or Miss Marvel. You can see I'm using Miss Marvel there. Punisher is an easier farm though because you unlock him at the start of the game. When it comes to your defense, teams that can work really well are your Shield and your Tech teams, but again because they are more exclusive, if you throw in a Defenders team it can actually work pretty decent on defense as well, and if you've been focusing in on them then they should have a nice high actual total power score. Will make it harder for other teams to beat them there. But that's the arena, so what we'll check out next will be the Alliance tab. So once you hit level 20 in the game, you're automatically put into an alliance, and being in an alliance is all about actually making sure you use all your energy each day to gain keys, and the keys are then used to open raids. And we talked earlier on how you get your materials for upgrading your skills through raids. So you can see that you get various different options here, so you can see if you're a leader how the different players are performing, make sure everyone's pulling their weight if you're in an alliance where that kind of thing is going to be done there. Now if we jump back here, also within this tab you have Alliance Donation, so we'll go into this. Now this is something known as Stark Tech, where each day you actually donate 10,000 gold, or if you want you can donate power cores if you've got enough money to actually do that. And what it will do is it will level up your alliance, and it will actually level up as well your Stark Tech level. So if we click on Stark Tech, we'll show off what this is, and I've done a full video on this. Again, link is in the description breaking it down. But you've got your 5 different tabs, so you've got Tech, Bio, Mystic, Skill and Mutant. So when you accrue your Stark Tech points, you get them via dailies, you get them via everyone doing their donations, then you can choose to upgrade stats for each particular different category here. So you've got health, damage, armor, focus, and then you've got resistance as well. So you can upgrade them up to a maximum of level 20. Some of them really aren't useful for the certain classes, so again I've got a link that's in the description where I break all that down and I tell you the best ones that you actually want to aim in on. But that's the Alliance tab. There's not a massive amount actually going on here. So the next section that we'll have a look at, this will be the raids. Once you hit level 25, then this is where raids actually open up, and these are incredibly important if you're looking to progress and upgrade your characters. Now, in order to open a raid, you need everyone in your alliance to spend campaign energy. That is converted into raid keys. You can see them at the top of the screen, and everyone's keys get put together in one big pool, and once you have enough, you can actually choose to open a raid. Now, I will mention that if you're looking to be in a raid in alliance, you will want to go on Discord, because you have to coordinate and use maps to make sure everyone actually selects the correct lane. I'll show how the lanes work in just a moment as well. Now, the raids come in 2 varieties. You have the Ultimus raids, which are the standard raids in the game. They're available 24/7, and these are the ones you can get with any character in your team really. You don't have to worry about particular traits or anything like that. You then have the special event raids. You can see you've got one for Miles Morales at the moment. Now, that particular raid is a lot harder because when you go down certain lanes, then you can only use certain traits. So you might have to just use Mystic characters, and if you don't have them, that can really make that difficult there. So they'll be a lot slower, but your easier raids will be the Ultimus ones. Now, if we're actually going to show it off, you can see you've got 6 different raids and the difficulty scales up. It actually tells you at the bottom the rough requirements there. So if we click on, for example, Ultimus Raid 3, and then we'll do a preview of this, we can see we've got different strike teams. You can have up to 3 strike teams of 8 members, meaning that every player in their lines, because you have 24 in total, can contribute in that actually raid. So we open this up, you've got your different lanes, you'll pick your lane. I'll mention the fact you can't go back at all, so it is very important that you coordinate with other teammates so that you actually complete the raid, because what happens is the raid's open for 24 hours. If you don't complete it, it will stay open for 24 hours and close, and then you won't get as many rewards from it, and you also need to sit and wait for it to close as well. Now, your rewards are up the top here. They're scaled on the different tiers you get, so you've got tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. And you can see all the different materials there. If we actually go into the Ultimus Raid 6, so this is an end game raid, and then you can see, look at all those awesome materials you get there. So again, if you're in it for the long haul, you really want to focus on raids here. Now we'll quickly go to the special event raid just to show this off. So if we click here, we go into preview this one. There's a ton of different options available here. You can see routes you can actually go, so everyone really does have to coordinate. And if we click on this node, we can see it says it requires mystic or skill. So when it comes to these ones, these can be a lot more difficult. Now you get all your resources from doing raids, but what you get as well, which is very important, as you'll see it says raid season on the left hand side here. Now if we click on this, when you run through missions with your raid team, you actually gain points for your alliance. So you get into the alliance leaderboard. Based on that leaderboard, you can pass milestones. It gives you a nice amount of currency for buying raid characters. Think get your Hand Sentry or Rocket Raccoon, and then you've also got your raid ranking as well. So every 2 weeks is the end of a raid season, and depending on your performance, you can get those precious tier 4 materials that are really great for upgrading your characters. So it is an exceptionally important mode, and again, if it's one you're looking to play serious, you need to get in a good alliance, and it's an alliance that will most likely be using Discord there. Now I've got lots of videos on raids as well. Once again, that will be in the description, so I've got a whole lot of links in the description here. Now the next section we look at is probably one of the most important ones in the game. This is the Blitz mode. Blitz then is a competitive mode where you actually work your way up the leaderboards against other players in the game, and you can unlock a really nice amount of shards of new characters. Generally new characters do debut in Blitz, but also you can get shards for existing characters as well. Now the way it works is you have 3 different blitzes in a particular week. So the character blitzes, you have 2 of them per week, and they run for 3 days at a time. So you'll have a blitz that runs from Tuesday to Thursday, you'll have one that runs from Friday to Sunday, that'll be your character blitzes, and then finally on a Monday you have your Red Star Blitz and your Premium Orb Blitz as well. Now the way the Blitz actually works is you'll use all the characters in your roster, so for that reason I'll actually mention the fact that when it comes to upgrading your minions, upgrade them to level 25 minimum, because that allows you to unlock all their skills and their passive on them. You want to do that for all your minions, so that's level 25. Now the way that Blitz actually works is you'll take in your characters. Once you use a particular character once, then it will use some Blitz charges. You can see them up the top of the screen. Currently I've got a cap of 500. You can get additional Blitz charges through your challenges and dailies, but you can't go above the cap. So do make sure if you're trying to score well on these leaderboards that you're using your charges before you go in and you claim the ones you're getting via your challenges and dailies. But it's 5 charges when you use a particular character. So if you use a team of 5, that will cost you 25 charges if you've already used them. If you use them 4 times, then that means their cost goes up to 10 charges per time. Now every 2 hours the cost to use a character actually resets. So what you want to do essentially is when a new blitz starts, is you want to go in with as many teams as you can. You work your way up the tiers. As you work your way up the tiers, you actually get a point multiplier. The more points you get, the better prizes you actually get there. And then every 2 hours you're using your teams, and then at the end of the day, or when you're at the highest tier you think you can actually get to for the best multiplier, you start using your best teams, but only use them 4 times, so they cost a maximum of 25 of your blitz charges per time. I wouldn't use them when they cost 10 charges each. Now if we actually go into it, it'll make more sense when we do this here. So we can see currently I'm on tier 8. The way each tier works is it has 4 stages. So you start at tier 1, you do your 4 matches. Once you do that, you move up to tier 2. You do 4 matches, you move up to tier 3. Now, if you lose a match just when you started a new tier, so let's say you've started tier 3, you lose a match, you actually drop all the way down to the start of tier 2. So you drop 4 matches. If you lose a match midway through a tier, you drop to the start of that particular tier. So you have to be really careful about the teams you use here. You don't want to get beaten. You can lose a lot of points. Now, in regards to the teams you're using, we've already mentioned that you want to use your whole roster. So I'll actually bring up my squad selection screen here and I'll show you how this works. So I've got all my teams saved, all the ones I'm using in the game, and actually really for Blitz here. So you'll start off with your weakest characters. The reason you do that is you get a points multiplier based on the power of your actual team. So you don't want to use weak characters with a weak score and then multiply that higher. So you'll start off and work my way up. When it comes to placing your characters, synergy is important, but it's also important your characters are roughly the same power level. If you drop in characters and the power levels are all over the place, it can really skew the team you're going up against. So I'd work my way through this anyway. So I do this first thing in the morning. That gets me to round about tier 4 if I run through all these characters, because I do have quite a lot there. 2 hours later, I can then use all the characters for free again, and I'll work myself up to tier 8, and then from there every 2 hours what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll use my most powerful teams. I don't want to use weak ones because I'm not getting as many points and there's a good chance I'll get beaten and I'll start dropping down the tiers as well. That's something you do have to be careful of. Now also with this, you can get fantastic rewards, so let's check them out here. So if we go up to rewards, there's 2 sections to this. The first one is your milestones. Now it will take you a while to actually get to the point where you can complete them, because the stronger your roster, the more points you get. But you can get a ton of gold from these, you can get a ton of character shards as well, and then you're getting lots of nice Blitz currency. Now you've also got the actual ranking in regards to this. If you were able to place rank 1, you see you would get a whopping 295 shards for the character in question there. It's bullseye at this time. More than likely, you'll probably place about around 1 to 10%. That's nice and easy to get. That's 35 shards. The harder rank to get is a 1500, but it gives you a whopping 85 shards there. Now you don't actually see your leaderboard results, so you don't know where you are in the leaderboard, so you have to push pretty hard if it's a popular character and if it's one you really want to try and get some shards on. So you have to compete against other players even though you don't know where they actually are on the leaderboard. Now I've done various videos on Blitz, so I'm going to link all them in the description, and they fill out this mode a lot more if this hasn't made a great deal of sense. It is a particularly difficult mode to explain in a shorter version here, so check out those other videos if you want some additional information there. Now the next mode we'll look at is an end game one. This unlocks at level 65 and this is a Dark Dimensions mode. So this particular mode is one as a new player you won't see for quite some time, and it's a mode that once you actually complete it you don't really go back to, unfortunately. Now the first difficulty that is available, this is called Enter the Darkness. So if we actually go in just to quickly show this off here, so you have in total it's 10 different nodes that are available. Now if you look at the power levels in the enemy, they really are jacked up, and this is a node that what you're meant to do is go in each day and just chip away at the actual characters to take them down, and eventually you'll work your way through to the end of the Dark Dimension. Once you get to the end of it, you get lots of materials that help you get to gear tier 13. Now the reason that's relevant is if you look at this difficulty, it requires characters that are 6-star. Now the next difficulty up, which has just recently been unlocked in the game, it requires gear tier 13 heroes. So you'll have to complete the Enter the Darkness mode first. You actually complete it 2 times. You do a regular run through and then you do a timed run through as well. Now each time you complete a node you get 100,000 gold, meaning when you complete it twice in total that's 2 million gold. You get quite a lot of materials in order to upgrade your characters to gear tier 13, but you still really will need to grind away in that. The whole goal is to work towards Fear the Darkness, because when you do get into the Fear the Darkness mode, then that's where you can actually unlock Ultron at the end of it. And as we mentioned earlier on in the video, Ultron is exceptionally strong. Now I've got a lot of videos on Dark Dimensions, how to complete various nodes, but I'll just mention that one of the hardest parts of it is you go into a node, you'll chip a character down and there's a lot of healers, and then they'll heal back up, and all the damage you've done for that day is then spoiled. So for that reason, characters that are really useful in this mode are ones that have either stun, heal block or flip, so that way you can stop the healers or you can flip the regen. So that would include the likes of Spider-Man and Black Widow for the stuns. In regards to the heal block, you've got Mordo, Winter Soldier and Korath, and in regards to the flip, you've got Doctor Strange, or you can even use Venom as well there. That can work really nice. Another character that can work really nice in this node, because the way it actually works is you go in, and what you can do is if you want to take down a particular character but they're quite tricky and they keep getting their health back up, what you do for a few days is you go in and you just spam your basics on all your characters, and that will work up their skills so they get their specials and ultimates. So on, let's just say 3-4 days down the line, you'll have your roster of 6-star characters you've upgraded. They can all go in and they'll have all their ultimates available to actually fire off there. Now a character that can work really good due to that is Storm. She's got a very unique mechanic where she can do an insane amount of damage and it works through charges, so she is a character that can work well for that. But bear in mind on your other characters to sometimes spend a day that may feel like a day wasted, but when you build up your specials and ultimates, it helps you burn through some characters that could be otherwise very difficult if you're just chipping away at them with your smaller moves over the course of a few days. So that's the Dark Dimensions mode, and again, as mentioned, I've got various videos that I've linked below for that. To finish up the video now, because I think we've covered just about everything you need to know, I've got one other little bit of information that I think is probably as important as where to spend your power cores. So let's check out this last little tip here. So to finish up, one of the most important tips I feel that I could give to new players is in regards to an awesome free-to-play, easy-to-access team they can farm early game, and it will make so many modes so much easier for them. Now as a new player, you'll hear a lot of players probably talking, this is existing players, they'll be talking about the Shield team and Nick Fury and how fantastic they are, and they are absolutely incredible. However, recently we've had a lot of counters coming out to that team, and they're really hard to farm. You have to farm 5 useless Kree minions, then you have to farm up your shield characters as well, so it can take a ton of time there. Now with the Defenders team, you've got the flexibility in the 5th slot in regards to who you use. You can choose to use Punisher, you can use Spidey, you can use Miss Marvel if you want, so that means you've got a nice bit of fun there in actually setting up your team. You've got the fact the team is fantastic as well when it comes to Arena. They're great in Blitz, they're absolutely incredible in Rage due to the way Iron Fist works. He has an amazing heal mechanic that kicks in at the start of each level, which means you won't need to worry about using raid medkits. So as a new player, that will really help you out as well. And they're really easy to farm. You can actually get all of them from its Arena, Blitz and Story mode. So that's probably one of the biggest tips I could give, and I feel that it's an important tip to finish the video off on, is really go hard in on Defenders. It's a choice that you won't regret at all there. Now I hope this video has been helpful. I know it's went on for quite long, but I've tried to cover just about everything I've learned in the last year for the game. Again, as I've mentioned quite a few times, I've got various other videos I've linked to flesh out different sections within this video as well. But I hope this has been helpful. If there is any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask below, and thanks for tuning in for this, and I'll see you all again soon.